Taylor Swift and Chiefs fans rejoice as Kansas City beat Cincinnati, 25-17, to win the AFC West Championship for the 8th straight season despite only having Travis Kelce catch 3 times, as the pair started prepare for a New Year's Eve party with the family. No, Taylor Swift's relationship with Travis Kelce did not completely derail the Kansas City Chiefs season. For the 10-6 Chiefs, the win was significant. Not only did Kansas City win their 8th consecutive AFC West Championship, but it also came after a miserable 3-8 streak that threatened their entire season. Swift spent Sunday's game in her usual suite, surrounded by family and friends of Kelce's Chiefs teammates. And as has become a familiar sight at Arrowhead, fans brought signs hoping to attract her attention. One clever Chiefs supporter dubbed the romantic pair TNT and wrote, "They are dynamite." Another young attendee wrote that she was just here for Taylor. After the match ended, the Swift-Kelce couple met at the Chiefs' private stadium. The pop superstar gave Kelce a sweet kiss as a congratulation to him winning the tournament. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce arrived at the Chiefs star's mansion in his Rolls-Royce to party with friends and family catered by Kansas City Barbecue Company. After the loved-up pair left and won together, the victory over Cincinnati to win the AFC West Championship on New Year's Eve was very meaningful. In the exclusive yet-to-be-released video, the pair were spotted speeding away from Arrowhead after the match on the back of a golf cart. The 2-time Super Bowl champion waved to fans gathered outside the Chiefs stadium. After the match, Kelce revealed that he plans to enjoy the victory with his friends and family, which obviously includes Swift, and NatFL can reveal those celebrations involved a catered party at the last mansion in Kansas City. The couple arrived at Kelce's house in a Rolls-Royce driven by his friend and pulled into his garage. Swift's security entourage followed closely behind. The red party bus, which had brought friends and family from their residence to the game earlier on Sunday afternoon, stopped shortly after Swift and Kelce arrived, and about 20 people lined up and went into the house of NFL star. It looks like the group headed back to the last man's house to celebrate their victory and ring in the new year with some famous Kansas City barbecue. The clan appeared to be toasting the Chiefs' victory and Kelce's professional performance with some barbecue from Fiorella's Jack Stack. This couple is enjoying the happiest time together. They had the best moments together on Christmas Day and now New Year's Eve when the Chiefs won the AFC Championship, something very meaningful to Kelce. Eras has generated an estimated $5 billion boost to consumer spending in the U.S., forcing cities to ramp up underprepared public transport systems and world leaders to turn into reply guys. Justin Trudeau pleaded with her on Twitter to come to Canada. And fair enough, I saw the final U.S. Eras show in August and found it to be one of the most euphoric concerts I've ever seen, a reminder of Swift's singular generational talent. When Eras concludes in November 2024, it is likely to be the highest-grossing tour of all time with an estimated $1.4 billion in revenue, $500 million more than Elton John's farewell tour, the current record holder. Even a filmed version of Eras being released in U.S. cinemas in October brought in $37 million the day that tickets went on sale. All told, the tour has re-established Swift as the most successful pop star in the world, after a few years in which a resurgence seemed far from likely. By the time the South American leg commences in November, Swift will have released her 3rd album in 12 months, the re-recorded version of 1989. It's the album that, on its original release in 2014, made her as omnipresent as Michael Jackson and Madonna had been in the 80s. Newspapers and blogs obsessed about the squad, the revolving clique of models, actors and musicians that surrounded her. But by the end of the attendant world tour, she was being accused of self-serving and superficial girl boss feminism, and there were public squabbles with Kim Kardashian, Kanye West, Katy Perry, Nicki Minaj and Calvin Harris. A fierce backlash was soon underway. But next month, when Swift releases 1989, Taylor's version, it's possible that it may debut with higher first-week sales than the album it's recreating. Her current cultural dominance makes the original 1989 era look small-scale. How has Swift managed to restore her stature without succumbing to the pitfalls that felled her last time? In the immediate aftermath of the 1989 fallout, Swift broke her pattern of releasing a new album every 2 years, instead waiting 3 to return in 2017 with Reputation, billed as her retort to the haters. Louis Mandelbaum, host of the pop music podcast Pop Pantheon, says that Reputation is actually more interesting than that. It's really about her finding refuge in a new relationship in the face of being ostracized, but its presentation. She wiped her once effusive social media accounts and adopted gothic imagery, allowed Swift to play with her newly tarnished image. She attempted to parlay the negative press about her into the narrative of the record, like, "I'm taking ownership over how you view me." He says. Many fans now feel Reputation is underrated, but relative to 1989, it was less, commercially, successful. And she was so intent on responding to the backlash that she obscured what the album actually was. In 2019, Swift released her seventh album, Lover, a record that literally wore its heart on its sleeve to affirm that she had moved on from the drama and was happy. It was one of her least successful records, her first since 2010's Speak Now's to not produce any US #1 singles. Its release did, however, coincide with another feud. The original masters of her first 6 albums were acquired by manager Scooter Braun and then resold without Swift's approval. She announced that she would release note-for-note re-recordings of the albums in order to devalue the Braun-owned versions. Mandelbaum says that Swift's feud with Braun allowed her to gain a certain amount of empathy from the public that she had lost at the peak of her post-1989 era. It was easy for most pop fans to say, "This male music executive is attempting to steal the art of this female singer-songwriter." It then allowed her to put the focus back on her songwriting. "I should own my songs because I wrote them in my bedroom when I was 15 years old." The pandemic provided another boost. In 2020, Swift surprise-released Folklore and Evermore, 2 albums produced with the National's Aaron Dessner that repositioned her as a serious musician, not just a pop star. Maltese-British singer-songwriter Lauren Aquilina, a Swift devotee who supported her on her 1989 tour, cites Folklore as her favorite of Swift's albums, calling it so well-rounded and sure of itself and the work of somebody who has absolutely mastered their craft. The lyrical focus turned outwards again, giving new fans an opportunity to appreciate her storytelling. Swift started releasing the Taylor's version re-recordings in spring 2021 and put out another original album, Midnights, in 2022. That record brought some of those more folky storytelling elements into the pop stuff, and blended them naturally, Aquilina explains, saying that songwriting-wise, Swift has now proved she can do whatever she wants to do. She hasn't left the charts since, breaking records for having the most albums in the US Top 100 and becoming the first act since the Beatles to have songs from 3 different albums in the US singles chart. Crisis publicist Lauren Beeching says that beyond the musical talent, it's Swift's ability to recast her image that's given her such longevity. "She is a snake in the most positive way," she says, referring to an insult hurled at and then reclaimed by Swift during the Reputation era. She sheds her skin and becomes a new version of herself to fit in with today's culture. You never know what will come next, which is what keeps her fans so engaged. Now Swift is more famous than ever, fans and critics are wondering if another backlash is brewing. The Eras Tour has become a huge story, not just for Swift's performance but for its unprecedented cultural and political impact. Ticketmaster's mishandling of the Eras Tour rollout, criticized by Swift, has led to an antitrust investigation, while moments from the show constantly go viral online. Swift has seemingly put up the squad bat signal, being spotted with Gigi Hadid, the Haim sisters and Blake Lively, and her dating life is back in the news. In January, she broke up with Joe Alwyn, her partner of 6 years, and was soon linked to Matty Healy, Firebrand frontman of the 1975. Healy got in hot water for laughing along with racist jokes on a podcast, leading extreme Swifties to petition her to break up with him. Some fans have also expressed disquiet at the endless stream of special edition merchandise that Swift puts on sale, the same record in various vinyl colorways, endless associated apparel, feeling gouged by what some are calling her capitalist era. But the nature of fame has changed since Swift's last fall from grace, and in her favor. When Swift released 1989, there was no way to be a megastar pop icon without blanket media coverage, meaning that there was a vast audience forced to interact with Swift content who didn't actually want to see it. Beeching says that, at that point in time, Swift was so analyzed, the poor girl couldn't even go on a date without receiving a ludicrous amount of hate. Today there is less of a monoculture, and conversation is chiefly driven by users of TikTok, Reddit and X. The fandoms that have emerged on those social media platforms are siloed and diffuse. The algorithms that serve users' content are prone to showing them things they are already predisposed to like.